Thank you, Willis, for getting that fixed for us. Appreciate it. All right, guys, we're going to get started. We got a lot of content to go over today. All right, so for those of you that are new, they like to say this together. To build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. And of course, God, family, then business, and our Y4C2Ts. What bucket fills do you guys have? Yeah?
I was a total dumbass.
You know bucket fill.
I do.
She's filling it.
And I thought I didn't have my key fob, and I called Jessica, and she went all the way out of her office and opened the back door for me. And then I looked down at my keys, and I had my fob the entire time. So thank you, idiot.
All right. Any other bucket fills? Dawn, and then I'll come to you, Nikki.
I want to say thanks to Brandon, who organized a booth at the West Dallas a la carte, and it was really cool. There was a couple agents showed up and had some really good conversations. It was good vibes, and I know it was a lot of work for he and Bianca helped a lot too with organizing that.
Yeah, and they picked up a couple listings. So it was awesome. Yeah, very cool. 2 listings.
Yeah.
Nikki.
My bucket fill is for Brooke, probably from our entire team, but she's been non-stop working for us. There's been a lot of listings, we've got events, we've got a lot of stuff going on, and she's just been a rock for all of us.
I love that.
So
Yeah,
we're very
awesome.
grateful.
Yeah. Good job, Brooke.
I never see her working. Yeah.
I mean, I can say that she's in here more than anyone. All right, anyone else bucket fills? All right, we will keep moving along. All right, so next week we're starting back up with the grill day. So thank you to Jay for grilling out next week. We appreciate it. And then they've had a sign up if you haven't had a chance to sign up to bring in sides or anything you want to share for the grill out. And we'll have some outdoor games. So we're excited for that. And then charity softball game, the teams are stacked and they're full, ready to go, but they still want people to come watch, contribute, cheer on the teams and who you want to win. So make sure you guys sign up. And there's going to be raffles and giveaway prizes. And then, who in here has already signed up for Jason Abrams? Awesome. The rest of you, what are you doing? No, seriously, you guys don't want to miss this opportunity. Jason Abrams is coming here in person. If you aren't familiar with the MREA podcast, I highly recommend you listen to a couple episodes. My personal favorite is number 6 with Cody Gibbs. Totally recommend you guys listen to it. Really, really good. He used to be on HGTV, obviously real big with the industry in KW. The way that he speaks will grab you in, and he's really big on mindset, but it's getting your business to the next level. So, Charlie, anything you want to add with Jason?
No, we have roughly 200 people registered.
Yeah.
And
it's 9 to 12, and it's in place of the team meeting, so I highly recommend you guys get in the room if you can. All right, stop marketing like every other agent. Regional is putting this on for you guys this week if you're able to go. It's hosted by Patrick Ferry, so there's still availability to go to the class. I know there's a couple agents that are going down, so maybe you guys can carpool if you're looking to go. And then ask an underwriter. So they're putting this on next week at North Shore office. Jeremy and the team, if you guys have any questions, Jeremy's here. You can always ask him. But they're excited for the class. The hair is different. It's the one you sent me. Okay, hold on. Apparently they updated the slideshow. All right, tech and marketing updates. If you guys haven't seen, they just published 12 direct campaigns. They have the splash pads, the 4th of July, all the festivals are out there, the games coming up. You guys really, really, really need to plug into these. If you need help with them, let us know. But it makes it really easy. And the easiest thing to do is to go into Library Smart Plans in the top left-hand corner. You can actually just type in MKE, and on the top right-hand side, if you change it to newest, it'll actually show you all the newest published smart plans for you guys. So they put a lot of work into these to make it easy for you guys to send out to your clients. So I highly recommend that you do. Yes?
I think you should press resume.
Let's try that way. There you go. Thank you, Nick. If you guys haven't heard, Michael Lewis Marketing, huge, huge, huge. They're a big collaboration that just merged with KW. They now are inside of our Canva. So tons more marketing materials available to you at your fingertips. For those of you that run teams, your admin should be jumping into this. We used to use Michael Lewis Marketing back in Texas, and it's amazing. The amount of stuff that they put out is really, really good. So there's a lot of content out there specifically for each of the months going on as well. So they have stuff for summer markets, Pride Month, Juneteenth, Father's Day. So there's a lot more stuff content-wise that's out there. And then, of course, our team does an amazing job of making sure that you guys have localized content as well. And then new email address coming up from KW MKE Marketing Concierge. So just take note of it. It is also in the app, and it is well on the website for you guys. Speaking of the app, who in here does not use the app? Who doesn't have it downloaded? All of you? Awesome. I get a lot of text messages asking for, and I never mind them, but like, who's this phone number? How can I get a hold of this agent? Where can I get this document? The app has everything you guys could physically want. So I want you guys to start playing around with it more, asking questions, because I promise they've put a lot of effort and work into this app and a lot of content, and it really does make everything accessible at your fingertips.
The other cool thing about the app is it's updating all the time. So I noticed that, I think this is newer, like you can actually reserve rooms now. So
Yeah.
if you're going to one of the other offices, you don't need to go find the SCEDA account to log, you just do it from the app.
Yeah, makes it really, really nice, makes it easy. So they're putting the effort in. Try to play around with it. It really does help you guys out. And Miss Lisa, come on up.
It's miscellaneous time. Here's a couple of updates and reminders for you based on kind of frequently asked questions we get on the hotline recently. If you are extending binding acceptance, sorry Dana, the counter must be initiated by the buyer's side. If a seller initiates a extension of binding acceptance on a counter, they are basically like they are accepting the offer. So do not, if you are on the listing side, do not counter and change the binding acceptance date. The buyer side can do that if they want to. If you sign the counter, you've accepted this offer. So beware of that. Watch out. Withdrawing a contract. Offer, counteroffer, amendment, any of those things can be withdrawn prior to delivery or prior to acceptance. You can do it verbally, but always follow up with an email or text. So yeah, if you send an offer and your buyer's like, wait, I don't want to, get on the phone, call the agent, say you're rescinding it, and then email and or text them the same information. But verbal works for withdrawing. Seller's election to cure. If the seller is going to exercise their right to cure any contingency, then you have to send back a notice. So an email does not suffice, a text message or call does not suffice there. Put it on an official notice and do it within the time specified in the contract. So there's a 10-day default for inspection, but sometimes people write in a smaller amount of days on there. So go back and look, send that within the time frame. And then it's as simple as seller elects to cure defects named on notice delivered by buyer on such and such date. If it's not done with the proper method, and time runs out, then the buyer can deem the offer null and void. Closing statements, super duper important. Bring your closing statements to the front desk. Even if you did not receive a check, the statement has to go to the front desk. That's how they initiate the process to getting the MCA's processing and getting you paid. So do not go in yourself and upload a statement, a closing statement, into Command and submit it. that's not going to get you paid.
Yeah, we've had a few of those lately where they get uploaded into the close file, and it doesn't alert us, unfortunately, that you guys go in and upload it like that. And sometimes the earnest money left over is enough to pay out commissions, but it's just sitting there. So then we hear from you a week later, how come I didn't get paid? Obviously, that's why. So if you guys just make it a habit of always making sure that everything gets turned in.
Yeah, and Sarah doesn't know if she approves that closing statement. She doesn't know how it got there.
She assumes you still brought one in, and
Right.
you're just putting it in there for your own records.
Right. And then a reminder, there's lots of historical, stuff you can find on the private KW page. There is a search button, so sometimes when you're looking for a contractor recommendation, something like that, you could type it in the search box and find what other people asked for and the recommendations they got recently. And that's all I have. And here's a reminder of our compliance slide.
Yeah.
Yay.
All right. Thank you. So again, the Girl Out, we already announced on the softball game. Make sure you guys come and join, and Jason Abrams. And then condos from A to Z happening June 9th at North Shore by A Plus Mortgage. They're going to have a lunch and learn. Yeah. Deal Defense. June Deal Defense vacant land offer to purchase Q&A zip forms and where deals go sideways. And then productivity coaching as well for the June calendar. Make sure you're all welcome to go to that. You don't have to be in PC. And then for those of you that are in the PC, don't forget to get your passport stamps up front. I know there's tons of agents that are working on that right now. And save the date, Ignite 2026 is happening, and it's being hosted here in New Berlin. So if you guys haven't taken Ignite or you need a refresher, I highly recommend taking it. There's no cost to it. Its registration is free. So definitely jump into that. And then Mega Camp, August 17th to the 20th in San Antonio. If you guys haven't heard, Simon Sinek is going to be there. If you're not familiar with him, Infinite Game is one of his top books. Really, really good. I highly recommend you listen to it on Audible or read the book. It's amazing. He's got The Big Why. Another one of his big ones is about leaders, especially if you run a team. Big producer, great keynote speaker. I know there's tons of people really excited about that. So if you are able to go or not, read the book. And then Career Night coming up. I know lots of you guys like to share that out and build out your downline. On the 13th of August, we will have one from 6 to 7 here in the Market Center. So they'll get the flyer out for you guys to start sharing out to everyone. And then relationships create liquidity. So if you guys have any questions in regards to this, Charlie?
This is my stuff.
Yeah, I will say this.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, you're gonna jump in.
Cam's not here. I'm
All right.
act like you're all surprised.
I'll give you some context to this, okay? Anybody know who Trammell Crow is? Perfect. I'll tell you the story. You ready for a little story time?
Yeah.
In the 1960s, Trammell Crow was a real estate developer across the U.S. In the 1970s, there was a market shift that occurred that created stagflation, rising interest rates, and a variety of other macroeconomic conditions that forced him on the verge of bankruptcy. In 1972, he went to his partners, asked them for them to liquidate their positions within all their real estate holdings, to give him the money so he could pay off the banks, and he would make them whole. He had several thousand partners in these real estate development deals. All of their partners liquidated their assets, gave them their money except for one. Okay? Here's the moral of the story. He was the largest private investor and operator of private land in the U.S. Sorry, I'm just hiding these. His business philosophy focused on two things. There's a partnership model where he operated a decentralized network of partnerships. He treated people as partners, not employees, sharing immense rewards with others. And he was famously asked at Harvard Business School what was the single most important characteristic to his success, and he shared the answer was love. Because he said, if you genuinely care about people and treat them with goodwill, success will naturally follow. Okay? By the way, in 1980, he had about $13.6 billion in real estate assets in 1980. In today's dollars, that's probably hundreds billions.
Yeah.
The lesson in the story was this. I gave you the shortened version of a really long story. In the graph that was presented, basically future profitability isn't dictated by the current interest rates or the local housing inventory. It's tied entirely to the trust we build today. If the market turns tomorrow, the question I'd have for you is, have you built a deep enough reservoir of trust, integrity, and value with your clients, colleagues, and network that they would step in to back you up? I always joke, like, who's the friend that you would call if you went to jail? No, it's the honest truth. Like, if you think about, like, everyone always jokes about who would you call. Why would you call that person? Who's your person, Joe?
I have a whole,
No, I just won.
well, Michelle, but she'd probably be there, so then we'd have to go.
Danian, if you were going to get into jail, who would you call first?
I'd probably call my friend Calvin,
Perfect. Why would you call Calvin?
because I know Calvin, if he can't do it, he'll find somebody that can.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll share with you mine.
Yeah.
I'd call my buddy Trey Stewart, who I've known since 3rd grade. Trey works at DPW in Whitefish Bay. We went to high school together. My kids love him because he's the garbage collector. He rolls up with the garbage truck. The boys all come and pound on the windows. Trey and I come from very different backgrounds, but the reason I'd call Trey is I've helped Trey when he's in need, and I know he would help me when I'm in need. And both of us do things for each other with zero judgment. That's why you have who you would call. You would call them because you would do that for them without judgment. Right? So if things happen tomorrow, who is it that you're calling on or relying on because you've made investments in people? And 3, and I think that this is most important reminder for the group to remember in a period of time right now of a lot of, just an interesting period in our industry, build your reputation today because it will be your ultimate liquidity tomorrow. A couple reminders to think about. All right, you guys ready for some market insights in terms of what the market's telling us?
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
Because all the people gave their money back except one.
Yep.
Is there more to the story? Because I feel like we need closure.
Yeah.
Right? There was but one. What was the but one? Did that cause them?
There were 78 investors who gave him their liquid capital
Okay.
out of 79 total. I don't know what happened to the one, but the 78 others became multi-millionaires because they basically he created this network of investors that completely trusted him and his insights in terms of what they were doing with their developments. When he needed help because they were on the verge of bankruptcy, they all liquidated their assets to help him to be able to fend the banks off. Because he was able to rebound and come back from that in the markets of the 1980s, those that gave him those dollars became multi-millionaires. There were a few slides in here that didn't transfer, so I had to kind of go off the cuff on
Okay.
that.
I just felt like that was an important thing you said.
Yeah.
You did, you know.
Yeah, I didn't.
The point to it, I think that what I was trying to make, the point to the story was this. I used jail as an analogy. But if you really needed something from someone, who would you go to? And why would you go to them? And why would they give it to you?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just use our business as an example. Because this is like a real story that has happened. I know an agent in our KW community that had a stroke. No one knew about the stroke, was in the hospital. They effectively, their income went to zero, but their expenses were covered because people took care of them. They came back and now they're they're probably in our top 20 overall agents. No one knows about the story. No one knows what people did for them, but they did it because on the front side they were a good person that helped so many other people. So when then it came time for other people to help them, people were willing to step up. I'll use another example here that really hits home. Cindy Coos. Cindy Coos did a lot for a lot of people for a long time. And then when it was time for us to return the favor for Cindy for all those years, and for Brian more importantly, I mean, the way that this group showed up in particular, amazing. Cindy didn't ask for that on the front side. She just gave graciously so that when it was time for it to show up, she received graciously. I think that's kind of the moral of the story. Give graciously, and you never know how the world will return the reward. Make sense?
100%.
So, market insights. Should we talk into the dive into the data as to what's going on to help you guys understand where the market's going? Sweet.
Can I share something, just quick anecdote? Was at an open house this weekend, and this woman was like, I just don't understand the market. And I said, well, maybe that's the difference between a KW agent and a non-KW agent, is we talk about it every week. And she's like, well, I don't even know what's happening. I said, well, we've been in the top 10, top 5, top 3, like fastest markets in the entire nation. And she's like, wow, I just can't believe I've never even heard that. And I was like, yep, that's right. Anyway, so thank you. I had a talking point, and I was like,
Happy to help.
now-
I'm going to give you a few more
Okay.
today. There's some really good nuggets today, I think. The reason why is because I shared this last week, and I got like 3 or 4 text messages over the weekend of people who were saying, hey, I use this in an open house. Hey, I use this here. So hopefully I have a few for you today. Here are my predictions for the year. I thought the closed units would be up 4%. Year to date through May, the market's up 2%. Through April, it was up 1%. So we're trending towards that. We'll see where June drives. June and July can make this whole thing go to where I thought it would be. Closed dollar volume, I said the market would be up 8. Right now the market's up 7. At the end of April, it was up 4. You could see 1 month of May can shift the market. I said rates would stabilize between 6 and 6.2. Rates are going to basically hover around 6.4 for the rest of the year. I'll talk about why that is here in a second. And why I would say I was a little cautious on, I thought rates would hover to 6 to 6.2 to try and stimulate the economy, and then I didn't think that the administration would do what they did in the Middle East, which is what threw the rate environment off, and I'll help you explain why that is. Okay? Inventory, dethawing and locking of inventory, expect inventory to increase. That's true, I'll explain. Demand, demographics are in our favor. That came true, I'll explain. And the Wisconsin advantage is alive and well. You want to know why? Here's the headline of an article I recently read. Wisconsin's housing market is booming right now. Home values, this was through April, across the state, were up 5.3%. It was the second highest appreciation in the U.S. so far year to date. Why? Because of migration patterns. Check this out. This is census data from 1992 to 2026. If you look from 1992 to 2021, Wisconsin has been effectively year over year been losing people to other states. In 2022, though, that trend has started reversing. So in the last 2 years, we saw some of the highest migration rates back into the state of Wisconsin we had seen in decades. Will the trend continue? Time will tell. We have to pay attention to drivers of migration, which is jobs which provide wages, accessibility and affordability, and the educational environment. This slide right here, Joe, to your question, is entirely why it feels as if the market is still highly competitive. And despite where rates are and uncertainty of what's going on in the macroeconomic conditions, why Wisconsin real estate continues to appreciate outside of what normal trends would tell us that it would. Make sense? So, yeah.
Are there other variables that you feel are contributing to
Wisconsin?
to our just being insulated from some of the national trends? Because I know you've talked previously also about like how new construction has a huge impact right on inventory, and that we kind of lag behind. Because I think a lot of people have had people ask that are aware that Wisconsin's like leading the nation right now, and asking like why. Like in addition to migration, which is really that's awesome information. Is there anything else, other contributing factors that you think have an impact to why we are still seeing so much appreciation and are in such a seller's market compared to other regions?
Yeah, here's the real simple answer. Less than 1% of our overall inventory is new home construction. And so we're trading the same homes, trading, and yet if you just simply look at this migration spike from 22 to where we are today, there's been more people looking for basically effectively the same inventory. So no one has put out like 10,000 new housing units. And that's why the appreciation is going like this and demand's going like this, and why you're all feeling it to be very competitive, which is true. And I'll show you the data that tells me why it's competitive. Make sense?
Absolutely. Thank you.
It's not like Phoenix where someone can come in and say, I'm going to go build 20,000 homes.
Right.
You know. Mike, can you chomp on those chips a little softer, please? I'm like trying to listen to Tony, and I would never call you out. What it is, those are some strong chips.
I didn't know that. Bro got those pedal twists.
I did not mean to call you on that way. It was just like, it was like a Saturday Night Live episode.
Somebody hit me. I don't care.
I'm like, wait, say that again, Tony?
I hear what you're saying. Can you say it again?
Was anybody else?
I was ignored.
Mike, I always said it because I knew you'd be cool about it.
That's awesome.
It was like Paul Bunyan eating like carrots. All right. Should we continue?
Yeah.
All right. That's why it feels like it's more competitive.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things in the marketplace that should tell you it wouldn't be as competitive.
Right.
The Middle Eastern conflict, oil prices, interest rates that skyrocketed. Wisconsin's just in a different thing. The other thing you guys got to note and probably pay attention to, because whether you know this or not, it's happening. Dane County is the fastest growing county in the entire United States. Okay? From a population standpoint. Madison is not growing west. It's growing east. And I don't know if you guys have driven the 94 corridor as of late, but when I was a kid and you'd go to Johnson Creek or you'd go to Lake Mills, it was nothing but farm fields. Now it's like, feels like a suburb.
Yeah.
Or even Sun Prairie, which is on the eastern edge of Madison, western edge of like kind of southeastern Wisconsin. I mean, you look at that huge, I mean, it's just so much going on. It's going to get stronger along that corridor, which is going to make this real estate, you know, way more valuable. And wait, because this will come when they finally do the right thing by connecting the Chicago to Milwaukee Amtrak to Madison, and there will be a stop somewhere or two along the way between those two. It's just going to create more opportunities because, like, look, I don't know if you guys know this. I rode the train to Chicago living in Milwaukee at 6 a.m. every day for 2 straight years. The amount of people that do that, though, is a lot.
See consistently.
You sit in the same seat next to the same people, and it's so. My point being is that accessibility to these major metro areas, Milwaukee, Chicago, Madison, continues to evolve. It'll all just drive more population in this way. I also think, to your point, if you just think, and I've been stumping on this, but the incidence rates of natural disaster has spiked dramatically in the last 5 years. And so I think a lot of people take Florida, for examples. A lot of condos right now can't get insurance. People who left during COVID are now coming back. And, you know, there's a lot of that going on. Make sense? All right. New inventory. I say demand is increasing because population's increasing, but there's not more new inventory units. In May, there was 2,812 new inventory units. It was effectively flat versus May of 25 and May of 24. Good news, bad news scenario. At some point, we're going to see a spike of inventory. It just hasn't happened yet. We basically are operating in the same environment we have been operating in. Total inventory units, though, are rising. So while new inventory has remained flat, because inventory is sitting on the market a little longer, it's risen total inventory. It was up 5% May of this year versus last year and up 13% versus May of 24. So there is more optionality for buyers, but that doesn't mean that it is less competitive for buyers. And I'll explain what that means in a second. Expired listing inventory units, I've been saying this forever, but it still rings true. This says April, but it's an error. It's versus May. Expired listing units were up by 50% in May of this year versus last year. There's two things happening. One, people are getting the hook faster.
Yeah.
Two, There's a lot more sellers who are willing to test the market to see what the market will bear from a price and terms perspective. And if they don't get what they want within the first week or two, they're willing to pull their home off the market. There's a lot more flexibility in sellers who don't have to sell. Okay? Average days on market, it's basically the same. Like, we're operating in an environment of 28 days on market. The average over the last 2 years is roughly 33 days. No major tangible change here to be paying attention to, but here is the tangible change. In April, appreciation was trending around 4%. Year to date, it's at 5.3, which I shared with you earlier. In May, it was up almost 7% on the average and 6.2% on the median. So homes have accelerated in appreciation in the month of May. It'll be interesting to see what will happen in June, but it will continue the trend that appreciation is still very, very healthy in our market. Okay? Here's why I know things are competitive. I went back and looked at April and May of 24 versus April and May of 25 versus April and May of 26 versus the deals and how they got accepted and what we were tracking to as to what got accepted. In May of April, May of 24, we looked at our list price to sale accepted offer ratio was 103%. It was a 56% had no inspection contingency, so on and so forth. Here you can see what this must be March and April of 25. Here's March and April of 26. And here is May of 2026. Okay, list price to accepted offer ratio is 103%. 60% of all deals did not have an inspection contingency. Now, here's my caveat for the attorneys and anybody else who's listening there for a gotcha moment. This is not an endorsement of that. It is just helping people understand what people are leveraging to do that. Okay? Cash deals are more prevalent. 28% of the deals have been cash. And you know what's really interesting versus markets of last spring or even March and April? Co-broke buyer side commission was 2.35% on average. 84% of the deals had a co-broke commission of 2.4% or greater. Can we just put it to rest? None of that shit impacted how it is that you make your money on your buy side closings. Good? Capiche? Capiche? Beautiful. I give you the data to be like, all right, let's put that to bed. Now, here's a little bit of an educational piece. This is not as consumer-facing as it is to give you confidence about where we are and where we're headed. Make sense? I don't know. Basically, mortgage rates are tied to crude oil. Okay? Crude rates typically are about 2 to 3 weeks lag in terms of changing based on where crude oil sits. Year to date, crude oil is up 74%. Interestingly, let's take a look at the history of where rates have been. This is the 30-year fixed mortgage rate average across the United States. On February 26th, it was at 5.9%. First time it had been under 6% in several years. By April 2nd, it had risen to 6.46%. Okay? As of last week, it's sitting at 6.48% still. Now, a lot of that has to do with where oil is trending. Remember, oil leads mortgage rates. Here's the other reason. There's 2 other reasons as to why consumer confidence, though, has not gone down and why rates, I predict, are going to stay at around 6.4% for the rest of the year. 2 reasons. First, the S&P 500. The reason why consumers have not scurried away from the real estate market, despite what's going on in the Middle East and some uncertainty from a policy perspective, is the S&P, well, as of May 4th, was up 5.9%. People's balance sheets are still healthy. This was on May 4th. I pulled this on June 8th, yesterday at 4:07 p.m. Year to date, it was up 8.17%. Point being is the reason why consumers have not gotten scared of the market is because the capital markets where their balance sheets lie, which would allow them to access real estate, has not been impacted despite all the craziness in what's going on in the Middle East and the rate market. Make sense? So the reason why you feel as if it hasn't gotten less competitive, and it's still relatively competitive, is it has not impacted people's portfolios. So people feel good about it. Then there was something else that came out last week, which is good for us. This is me putting wind in your sails about what I think the next 6 months will look like. Last week, the U.S. payroll report came out in terms of the job reports. And in May, we added 172,000 jobs in May, which was much more than expected, and unemployment sat at 4.3%. By the way, the benchmark for unemployment is 4% across the U.S. as gainfully employed. Okay? Here's the monthly job creation across the U.S. going back to 2022, coming out of the post-COVID era. Then you saw it faltered a little bit where it was soft in 25, and now it's bouncing back in 2026. People need to be gainfully employed in order to earn wages so that they can afford to buy and access real estate. The announcement that came out last week in being better than expectations is good for all of us. Okay? And then as a follow-up to this, and the reason I share you this is so that you understand some of the content that I'm reading in order to give to you, and I realized, why don't I just clip what I'm showing them, and I'll give them the Cliff Notes version, is Goldman Sachs is pushing the Fed to rate cut call for 2027 after strong U.S. jobs data. Basically what this is saying is don't expect rates to come down because the economy is relatively healthy, the S&P is relatively healthy, job performance in terms of additions across the economy is relatively healthy. My prediction is that mortgage rates will remain relatively stable throughout the rest of the year, and if anything, we'll see kind of where it goes to where their first cut might be. This morning when I gave this presentation at 9 a.m., someone asked me though, well, if I have a client comes to me and says, I'm going to wait until a potential cut to come for fall or first quarter of 27, what do I tell them? Should I walk you through the math? It's a really simple equation. Okay? Everybody good on this?
Yes.
Sweet. All right, let's do a simple math for you. I don't think rates will cut more than 1/10 to 2/10 of a point. But let's just say aggressively they cut rates at 2/10 of a point. 2/10 of a point on a 30-year fixed mortgage comes out to effectively, on an average deal of $500K, it comes out to about $50 a month. So let's just say hypothetically in 4 to 6 months they decide to cut rates by 2/10 of a point. Your client's going to save $50 a month. Now, currently, the market's trending at around 6% appreciation. I'm going to use a conservative estimate of 5% appreciation through the balance of the year on the same $500,000 home. Let's just say from June till January 1, 6-month period, they miss out on that annualized 5% appreciation. 10% of 50K is 10% of 500K is 50K, 5% of 500K is 50K. So you're going to try and save $50 a month and give up, 25K. You're going to give up 25K in appreciation because you waited.
It's muy estúpido.
The cost of waiting is substantial.
Yeah.
The cost of it, yeah, and if it's 6 months, half of it, okay, so you got 12.5. Like,
Still more than what you're
All right, you missed out on all that.
I'll take $50 a Pato, and you guaranteed me I'd make 12.5, I'd get in right now.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Seriously, that's the way I look at my money. So the cost of waiting is substantial, and it's helping people realize what that cost is in a very simple way. So here's my grocery store market of the moment script for the group. Demand of the market is consistent. Buyers are proceeding cautiously, yet due to macroeconomic uncertainty, yet our internal data tells us it's not loosened to the competitive nature of the market. New inventory coming to the market continues to be healthy. We're still not seeing a major pop alleviating continued shortage. There are two kinds of sellers. A seller who has to sell because of life events, and those wanting to cash in on their equity appreciation, which is 25% of the market. These are the patient sellers because many of them are testing. Rate and velocity, homes are moving at similar paces. Expireds are increasing pace. Listing agents, you got to set expectations, communicate, and price appropriately. It's a cautious yet competitive market. The macro trends have people uncertain. There's been a yo-yo effect on rates. People's balance sheets are still healthy, and the stock market gives people confidence. That's where the market is. So the balance 6 months of the year, I'd probably say you're going to expect more of the same. Good news is, on a per deal basis, you're making more money because homes on average are up pretty substantially. 8%. It's outpacing inflation. Focus on your units so that you can win more deals and earn more income. Develop your relationships so that when you need a liquidity event, that you can rely on someone, right? But I think the market basics, like anybody on Twitter? Come on, you're on Twitter, right?
I'm on Twitter, but
The amount of prognosticators that are saying like there's a huge housing bubble, I just struggle to see where that shows up. And there's a lot of people, remember, fear sells. So don't get caught in the clickbait. Make sure that you have information. The reason I do this to you on a consistent basis is that you can speak with it confidence and provide people certainty, because when they feel like they have confidence in their decision making, they will buy or they will sell. Your job is to be able to provide that confidence. On a KW perspective, year to date, we're doing incredibly well. And when I say we, it's a collective of we. Our data is a reflection of your data, but here's the coolest part, and I think sometimes this group takes it for granted. Well, the KW ecosystem. It's an incredibly productive group. Our job is to provide you an environment of productivity. On average, the average KW agent versus the average agent in the GMAR closes 112% more closed dollar volume and 80% more closed units than the average agent. From a trends perspective, just because I like visuals in terms of where brands are winning and losing, you guys are absolutely taking market share. And as the tide rises, you don't give that market share back. As you gain market share in a market, you continue to take more than your unfair share. And then I do the luxury, this is above $1 million, I do this to help people break through price points where they don't think are possible. Because the best way to do it is use the collective ecosystem story to help you get to where you want to go. Once you get to where you want to go from a price points perspective, then the story and narrative shifts to your own data. But for a lot of people, like I helped someone who had never taken $1 million listing, I gave them this one slide, boom, they landed $1 million listing in Elm Grove because they showed the power of the network of how they can help them win. We sell one of every nearly 3 homes in southeastern Wisconsin north of $1 million. We sell them, and we sell them 30% faster than anybody else. This isn't a gotcha slide. It's just this is what we are doing, and this is part of the ecosystem you're involved in, and how people can help you get to where you want to go. Cool. Big picture, market's healthy, and when I say big picture, I'm talking about southeastern Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Florida and Phoenix and Austin, because those markets have different things going on. Mm-hmm. But your market here is strong. The development up and down the 94 corridor, whether it's west or south or even now north up into Port Washington, it's going to change and transform these communities. And we've already seen it and experienced it. And your job is to take advantage of it. And we're here to help you and continue to help you grow. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Any other questions? No? Feel free, I'm a sitting duck. You can ask me anything you want. No? Sweet. Well, it's a pleasure to serve you guys. Thank you guys for your partnership. And I want to go on the record. Mike Weber, I love you. And you provided us an incredible laugh.
I cried, so thank you.
All right, guys, a lot of you have been using the new platform to send in your stuff, so we'll kind of go through it. Monica with Connected Realty, this is her upcoming listings. So she's got one in Waukesha on Glendale Road, 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, 2.5 car garage attached, 1,800 square feet, 86-acre lot, no basement, $375.
It's got to be
It's gotta be
0.86. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They're putting these in. We can check that. Buyer need 2-bedroom condo with basement at least, 1-car garage, ranch preferred, up to $425, New Berlin, Greenfield, Muskego, and Brookfield. Karen Nemeth has upcoming listing in New Berlin, 539.9. It's in delay right now, showing start 611. It's a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath in Regal Manors North, and it's a colonial. Lisa P with Level Up on 1220 East Russell, duplex with 2 beds, 1 bath in each unit, 2-car garage. It'll go live Friday, 6/12, and price will be mid-300s, 2-car garage. Nick Bordeaux has an upcoming listing, single family in Milwaukee, 299.9, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,535 square feet, master suite, basement, move-in ready. And then he's got another one on 447 South 72nd Street in Milwaukee. Do you have any details on that?
Yeah, that's a duplex. It's just north of West Dallas, south of 94. Upper unit is rented. Both units are 2-bed, 1-bath, 2-car garage. That one's also going live at 299.9 next Thursday.
Send me details on that. I have a realtor friend that's moving here from out of state, and they're looking for a couple duplexes to purchase for investments. Nicole Asaki has one in Grafton coming up, 405, 4-bed, 1.5 bath, new flooring and paint, big yard, currently in delayed, and goes live 6/25. And then another upcoming listing in Kenosha, 239.9, 2-bed, 1 bath, turnkey ready, and goes live 6/12.
I need open house help on those if anyone's interested too.
Where are they?
Kenosha and Grafton.
And then Cassidy has a buyer need still. She talked about it in the past. Lake Country area preferred, also open to Brookfield, up to 710, 4-bedroom, 3-bath. Mother-in-law suite in the basement for their daughter, and prefers a property with some separation from neighboring homes. 3-car garage preferred, 2.5-car garage may be considered. Convenient access to hospital, major highways, and would like to remain further west and away from Milwaukee. And then Kirsten with us has an upcoming listing, 2901 Autumn Lane in East Troy for 425, 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,400 square feet. I see a couple of you taking pictures. All right. Anybody else that didn't get it up on the slides that you need to share something? Jay?
I just had a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath ranch go back on the market in West Dallas. They put a brand new roof on. They wouldn't do it for the last buyer, but they did it now.
That's always fun.
324.9. I have a 3-bedroom stairless ranch going live on Thursday on 66th and Morgan for $225. We have a condo in Franklin, a 2-bedroom, very nice, for $250 going live on Thursday.
Is it main floor or upper?
It has basement, main, and upper.
It's like a townhouse.
It could be, but then I put a big one on over the weekend, 600 in Greenfield, Whitnall School District. 3 bedrooms, 2 full, 2 half baths, new roof, new windows, AB&K kitchen, bathrooms, heated floors, very nice. I put it on Saturday and I haven't had a burp on it yet.
Whoa.
119th in Waterford, right on 599. So it's really, really nice. So
Awesome.
it's on the market. I put another one on. We had an appraisal issue on one in West Dallas from an Illinois appraiser. The guy was from Chicago. Came in 20 under the price.
Ooh.
Appraisers. I put it back on the market in 12 hours. We got full price but no appraisal.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. Did I see another hand? Nikki?
Yeah, I've still got a Tosa listing, 3-bed, 1.5 bath.
Will you just say who you are with so people online know?
Nikki, Team Smith, Wisconsin.
Thank you.
3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, about 1,200 square feet, and half finished basement. Really cute Cape Cod.
It's cute as a button.
It is. It's very well maintained. Very well maintained. $449.
All right. Awesome. Did I see another hand? Yeah, Mike.
Mike Weber with Let's Go Realty Group. 2 listings coming. One this Thursday in Brookfield at 629. It's in a cul-de-sac and 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, finished basement with a Irish pub theme. And then coming next Thursday is a duplex in Milwaukee on South 75th Street. That's 3-bedroom, 1.5 lower, and it lives absolutely like a ranch. Doesn't even feel like you're in a duplex. Upper is a 2-bed, 1-bath, and the basement comes with a pool table.
What's the
what's the
price on that?
Right?
$359,900.
Awesome. All right. Anyone else? Tony.
Mine, we have a bunch of listings. Ask us
If you will send these in
I
next
know,
time.
we're getting in the group. We've been slammed. We've got a lot of stuff.
And honestly, the
offered.
only reason we're doing it like this, guys, now is because we got a lot of feedback that we'll get text messages from those that are online, and they're like, "Who was the third person that spoke? I
Oh,
was really
I
interested
love
in their
it.
property,
Great.
and I can't remember who the third one was
Yeah.
that spoke." I'm like, "Give me more details."
But actually,
So-
I have a buyer need.
I was trying to do this.
I have an out-of-state investor who is only here for a very short window of time on Thursday, and he is looking to buy. He's a cash buyer. He's looking for like a renovate and resale, but he owns a construction company out of Illinois, so his margins are pretty like flexible because he does all the work himself. If anybody has on-market or off-market property, preferably south of 94, that is somewhere in like the $150,000 to $200,000 range that may have some potential to renovate and resell, please let us know, because he's trying to see like 5 to 7 properties, and I was like, dude, if I have 5 to 7 flip properties just sitting in my back pocket, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Right.
Would you do
But
it?
maybe one.
I
Okay.
live, yeah, I have one that went active today in Cudahy on Lake.
Okay, I think I spotted your. Oh
Okay.
yeah, let's definitely talk. I just want to at least get, because I'm still building the relationship with him, and I at least want to get him out to some to see like what style of homes are going to be at that price point in the areas he's looking for. If we find one, great, but I just would like to get him to see something that is
Yeah.
going to not be,
Any others? All right, guys, that is it. Thank you.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah,
I thought we were here until like 4.
you're crazy.
What a bummer. What?